Alright, so in order to test this created Lambda function, all we need to do is we need to go inside the test section, and here we need to create event, because if you remember, Lambda function always works in event driven manner. So unless and until we invoke this Lambda function, it will not get called. So we'll need to create event to call this function. So there are different types of events. We will learn multiple types of event, but for now, just to speed up our testing process, we have this test section here, and we can create one custom event. Okay, so inside this you can see we get option to create new event. So we'll need to define name of the event, so I'll simply say test one. Okay, and you have to define type of event, so it is private or shareable, so I'll keep private as default. Then down below you get templates. So let's say if you are creating HTTP API, so in that case you will need to pass headers and some data along with your API. So in that case you can choose this template, and certainly you can make changes in this. So these are nothing but parameters that we pass to the Lambda function. So depends on which parameters our Lambda function requires. Currently our Lambda function don't expect any data from event, so in that case we will not send any data. So I'll simply search default option, which is hello world, and it doesn't matter whether you pass parameters or not, our Lambda function will work same. So I'll not pass any parameters, and once you configure your Lambda function, all you need to do is you need to click on test. So this is saying calling from invoke API failed because okay, so I think we'll need to specify JSON syntax. So I'll just open and close curly braces, and that's pretty much it. Simply click on test. Okay, so now you can see we got this green tick. That means our Lambda function executed successfully. And if I want to see the details, I'll simply need to click on details, and here is the Lambda function message. Okay, so this message is coming from our Lambda function. If I go inside the code and if I show you, so this is what we are returning from the Lambda function. So we have status code and we have body of our Lambda function. Okay, so we got this message saying hello world, so that means our Lambda function executed successfully. All right, there are multiple types of events. We will cover that in our upcoming videos. So but just to give you heads up, these are the triggers and these are nothing but the events. So if you want your Lambda function to get triggered as soon as someone let's say insert some file in the S3 bucket, so in that case you can also configure this events. So basically you can use multiple services to trigger your events. Okay, we will cover this part in our next video, but for now let's just try to make our Lambda function parameterized. So if I go inside this code, and I'll simply try to return one variable, so I'll simply type event dot username. Okay, and then let's pass this username from our event. So first of all I'll have to deploy this Lambda function, so I'll click on deploy. So our Lambda function is deployed. Let's go inside the test, and in here we'll have to pass this JSON. So I'll pass username is, let's say, JHM, and make sure that you have correct JSON syntax, otherwise it will give exact same error. So let's click on text, and in the event parameter we have received username, so I'll simply have to return event. And let's go and test once again, and here we have our JSON that we have passed from event. So this is how we can make our Lambda function parameterized and use these variables in our code. So thank you.